All right. Welcome into another day of our daily Devos in the Psalms. My name is Pastor Rick, and we are jumping into, yes, you can see it on the screen, Psalm 24. What? We made it. We got through Psalm 23. Hopefully you enjoyed the journey through Psalm 23. I just thought, you know what, we don't really have a rush to get through. So we can take our time and we can just take it verse by verse or however we want to handle it. And so hopefully you were encouraged and strengthened by all the content that we went through in Psalm 23. So now we get to jump into Psalm 24. Title here is The King of Glory. And again, I love sections of scripture that just take time to exalt who God is, because I think it's so strengthening to us to remember that we're not alone. We are not the top, we are not the ceiling of this situation, because honestly, if the situation can only get as good as I can help make the situation, we're in trouble, folks. And so I love that we serve the King of Glory. He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the creator of heaven and earth. So we're going to go ahead and read and just jump on in. So Psalm 24, Psalm of David. Verse number 1, the earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord. For he laid its foundation on the seas and established it on the rivers. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not appealed to what is false, and who has not sworn deceitfully. He will receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. Such is the generation of those who inquire of him, who seek the face of the God of Jacob. Lift up your heads, you gates. Rise up, ancient doors. The King of glory will come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord, strong and mighty, the Lord, mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, you gates. Rise up, ancient doors. Then the King of glory will come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of armies. He is the King of glory. Come on now. All right, so let's jump back up to verse 1, and let's just take this kind of one verse at a time. The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord. He laid its foundations and established it on the rivers. And so kind of an ancient mindset. They kind of visualized the world built on like the waters. And so it's why his language reflects the foundation on the seas and established on the rivers. And really, we know that that's not really exactly how it's played out from a scientific perspective, but from their understanding in the poetic language is basically just to honor and glorify God as the creator and the originator of all things. And so obviously that can sound like no duh kind of a moment. Of course God did that. Of course he made that happen. But really, I love one guy said, hey, if you believe the first verse in the Bible that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, then every other part of the Bible, the miracles and the amazing things that have happened, should be believable because you believe in the first verse. And so this Psalm 24, I think, kind of harkens back, obviously, to Genesis 1:1. The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants, belong to the Lord by nature of the fact that he's the one that created it. He's the designer, the builder. He is the architect of it all. And so who may ascend the mountain of the Lord, and who may stand in his holy place? In some senses, the obvious answer to that rhetorical question is nobody, right? Because nobody is righteous. No, not one. No one loves God. No one seeks God apart from God drawing them to himself. So so the one who has clean hands and a pure heart, kind of referring to an innocence and an integrity of a person. And so obviously, and who has not appealed to what is false and is not sworn deceitfully, they will receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness or vindication from the God of his salvation. And so there is a reward to holy living. And I appreciate my friend Melissa calling out, just to churches need to really cleanse and step up in holiness. Like, we can't just continue to excuse sin because of the grace and mercy of God. We don't want to abuse the grace of God and say, well, it's okay because God's forgiven me or whatever. No, if we are walking in humble surrender and submission to the God of the universe, and we need to do what he says. We need to follow his commands. We need to, Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Loving him actually is the thing that gives us the empowerment to keep his commandments. And so I say, like, if you're having trouble keeping his commandments, look at how well you're loving him, look at how well that relationship is happening. And so, but he will receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness. And that word can also mean vindication from the God of his salvation. And I really love verse 6, such is the generation of those who inquire of him and who seek the face of the God of Jacob. And that seeking the face is to trust, to believe in, to hope in, to have faith and confidence in. And so obviously we want to be a people that are like that. We want to be a people that trust in and trust on God. Like the picture that I always like to draw for myself is when we say believe on him rather than maybe believing in him. But believing on him, you could picture like a stool or something that you want to sit on, and the trust and confidence that you have to have in that stool to hold you up in order to take your feet off the ground and fully commit to yourself being held by that stool, by that chair, whatever, or by that bridge, or, that you trust on that thing, trusting that it will sustain you, will hold you. And so I want to be a generation of those that inquire of him and seek the face of the God of Jacob. And so, I feel like that's kind of the challenge for us today, recognizing the King of Glory, who he is, what an awesome God, that we want to be a generation of those who inquire of him, who seek him, who trust in him, believe in him, walk in faith and obedience to him, that we would be a people that are having clean hands and a pure heart and don't appeal to what's false or swear deceitfully. Why would we? We have the truth. We have the one who speaks the words of life. And so I love that. And so lift up your heads, you gates, rise up, and rise up, you ancient doors. Then the King of Glory will come in. Just the picture that he's creating, this poetic picture that he's creating, the King of Glory will come in. Who is this King of Glory? The Lord, strong and mighty. The Lord, mighty in battle. I feel like that's a word for some people today, that you're in the middle of a situation, you're in the middle of a battle. He is mighty in battle. He is strong and mighty. No matter how weak, worn out, torn down, frustrated you might feel in your situation, know that God is the King of Glory, strong and mighty, mighty in battle. He is there for you. So lift up your heads, you gates, rise up, you ancient doors, and the King of Glory will come in, the Lord of armies. So he's over it all. He's got a whole army behind him. Like, he is ready to go. So I just wanted to encourage you with those words today out of Psalm 24. God bless you. Tons and tons. May you have the most amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow.